This is a special presentation of EA Sports from the Coliseum in Oakland, our tribute to the coach, the John Madden Legacy Game. I'm Brandon Gaudin here to take you through the proceedings, and coming up, we're going to tell the story of a man who was truly larger than life and whose impact on the sport of football certainly is going to live on for decades and decades to come. Now, we've assembled a couple of rosters featuring some of Coach's favorite players from both yesterday and today, and Coach himself will be on the sidelines for both squads, try to motivate his guys to victory. And I'm joined now by my good friend Charles Davis. CD, your thoughts on John Madden and what he meant to the sport he loved so much?
For me, Brandon, it's the word joy. He brought that to the game of football, brought the game to so many people. He stayed involved his entire life. And moving forward, when you think of football, you're always going to think John Madden.
The Coliseum back to its original 70s glory. What a scene in the East Bay. And we're underway in the John Madden Legacy Game. And he's able to get this across the 20, but not by much, as he's marked down officially at the 21. So it's the NFC stars who will get the ball first. And Charles, as we alluded to, we've got a different era of coach on each sideline. So the man coaching this NFC squad, we'll call him Young John Madden. This is a coach who was trying to establish a foothold in the NFL and on the cusp of doing it very successfully.
Yeah, you think back to that period, those early days as the coach of the Raiders, the late 60s in the AFL, and then in the NFL in the early 70s. Coach was a guy who was ahead of his time. The Raiders were one of the first teams to have mini camps, one of the first to film practice, because he wanted to practice coaching as much as he could. And his teams, they were successful right from the start of his head coaching tenure.
They'll throw on first down with Favre. That swung out wide to Sanders. 5 yards on the game's first play, second down. So as we mentioned at the top, let's take you through the life of John Madden. And, you know, it's very fitting that we're here back in the Bay Area, not just because John's so associated with Raider football, but also because this was where he spent his formative years.
Yeah, he grew up over in Daly City with his buddy John Robinson, who would also become an NFL head coach. And he played his high school ball at Jefferson High, eventually wound up playing tackle at the University of Oregon, and later Cal Poly San Luis Obispo. Played well enough that in 1958, he was a 21st round draft pick of the Philadelphia Eagles. That's right, the draft had 30 rounds then.
But Charles, you mentioned Coach was a 21st round draft pick back in 1958, was the Philadelphia Eagles who selected him. But unfortunately for John, knee problems, they just continued to dog him. He was hurt in his first training camp, actually never saw the field as a player in the NFL, but it was still during his time with the Eagles. You and I were talking about this before going on air, that you could start to see the light bulb going on for what his career path might entail.
And it went on in a big way, didn't it? Because while he was rehabbing his knee, he started to spend a lot of time breaking down film with the Eagles with quarterback Norm Van Brocklin, the future Hall of Famer and future head coach in the NFL. Remember, Van Brocklin coached with the Falcons. He coached with the Vikings. And it was there during that time, I think Coach Madden realized his love of football and love for teaching, combining all that together, and that meant being a football coach. So in 1960, began his coaching career at a small college south of San Luis Obispo called Allen Hancock, and then later at San Diego State University under another legendary coach, the guy who could throw it around pretty well, Don Coryell.
So, Charles, as mentioned, we've got another Coach Madden over here on the AFC sideline. Of course, his Raiders, members of the AFC West. So this is a conference he battled in for his entire career. And you think about the landscape of the NFL as he was getting into the back half of his tenure, it was a golden era for coaches. You had Don Shula, Tom Landry, Chuck Noll, Bud Grant, but it was John Madden who had the best winning percentage of them all, CD, 759, the best ever.
Brandon, it's hard to believe he could be so successful in the conference with all those great teams. The Steelers won 4 Super Bowls. The Dolphins won 2 and were a mainstay in the playoffs. The Colts were tough. The Broncos came on late and went to a Super Bowl themselves. But against Hall of Fame coaches, John Madden's record, 36, 16, and 2. That's pretty incredible. His Raiders were a factor each and every year.
Charles, you know, it was in the early 1960s that a young John Madden made the acquaintance of the owner of the Oakland Raiders, one Al Davis, of course, and the two, they really bonded, would become one of the best owner-coach duos in NFL history. And to take it a step further, Al Davis became someone who John referred to as his best friend.
Yeah, 1967, Brandon, Al Davis hired Coach Madden to be a linebackers coach. Remember, this was still the AFL at that point. We had not merged totally with the NFL. And Coach Madden, he paid dividends almost immediately. Up the Raiders win the AFL title in 1968, and that meant a date with the Green Bay Packers in what was now known as Super Bowl II. But by 1969, at the age of 32, just 32, Brandon, John Madden assumed the mantle of head coach of the Oakland Raiders. And what a ride he, the Raiders, and the NFL were about to go on.
Flushed out right. And he'll just get rid of it.
Oh, that's going to hurt a bit because they needed to come through with a completion there. Now a drive that started with great field position is facing fourth down.
On is the Hall of Famer Ray Guy to punt this away on fourth down. That one sails out of bounds. The side judge will walk it off. And he says it went out of bounds at the 9-yard line. Nice punt. So well done there. And these punters, they get more specialized and better each and every year, don't they?
They sure do. And now it's really not the American punters. It's the Australian punters with their kicking academies and that flat drop and just kind of kicking the nose of the football. They're able to almost stop it where they want to, like a good golfer can check one up.
They're coming out with a jumbo package to start the drive. They start on the ground here at Sanders. And nothing doing. He's immediately taken down at the line of scrimmage. Charles, you talked about John Madden and the Raiders going on a ride. Well, try these numbers on for size. 10 seasons as a head coach. The Raiders won their division 7 times. They finished second the other 3 times, and he became the youngest coach to amass 100 career regular season victories and is still, to this day, the franchise leader in wins.
And when you think about it, that's where that rivalry with Kansas City really took root, as did the expression commitment to excellence. And boy, was it personified by the players who played for Coach Madden. On offense, how about quarterback Kenny Stabler, wide receiver Cliff Branch, wide receiver Fred Biletnikoff, tight end Dave Casper, to name a few. How about those great linemen he had? Center Jim Otto, guard Gene Upshaw, tackle Art Shell, all of them in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. And guys on the defensive side of the ball, the Mad Stork himself, Ted Hendricks, Willie Brown, John Matuzak, Otis Sistrunk, and Big Ben Davidson. So many great players, so many great memories.
Charles, you think about all the success that John Madden had as an NFL head coach, and he had plenty, and we talked about it, including the 10 straight winning seasons, a Super Bowl title. But like any great coach, he also suffered through a few tough losses along the way as well.
And Brandon, those tough losses came in high-stakes games because they always had such great success. Think about it this way. 6 times in his 10 years, the Raiders were knocked out near the AFL championship game or the AFC championship game. But might be a divisional round exit. That's the one that bothered him most of all. Three Rivers Stadium, December 1972. Yes, the Immaculate Reception game. Franco Harris grabbing the ball that was deflected. Almost at his shoe tops, he picked it up and took it in for a game-winning score to give the Steelers a 13-7 victory. And partner, anyone who loves black and silver still doesn't believe that ball hit anyone in black and silver that day, and that play should never have counted.
So we're through one at the Coliseum in Oakland. 0-0 our score. This is the John Madden Legacy game on EA Sports. And some secondary help here for the defense in the nickel on 3rd and long. Up the middle they go with Sanders. And he'll be
We know you're hovering over that button, but we need your help. We have a better button, we promise. Right on time. Not bright enough? Making it flashier for you. Still not enough? All right.
Captain, you tried your best. They don't know what they're missing.
Plug on this clock.
Our offense is our best defense right now. We're running a halfback screen. We just want to run this clock down, and we're going to be looking if we can.
This is a special presentation. Roethlisberger on the draw. It's Harris. And he's tackled inside the 40, not quite to the 35. Now whistles and a timeout with 3 seconds left in the first half. So 3 seconds here remain in the half. On is the field goal unit to see about getting 3 points. This from 54 yards away. So we have reached halftime here with an abbreviated halftime show as we get rolling to quarter 3. The Ravens ready to receive it, and they've got the lead as well as we resume play in the second half. No run back here for Duvernay. Touchback out to the 25. Out come the Ravens now. They'll go on offense first here in this third quarter. Their defense has done the job. Now it's the offense's turn as they've got it 1st and 10. Option play, and they'll hand to Dobbins. And nothing doing. He's immediately taken down at the line of scrimmage. Call it no gain on the play, and it'll be second down. Now, they struggled to get him rolling on the ground in the first half, and that's sort of continuing here in the third quarter.
Yeah, but I don't think it's time to abandon the running game. I would say keep feeding the horse, and I believe he'll eventually reward them, especially as we get deeper in the game.
Defensively, celebration time because they finally forced an incompletion. He was perfect throwing the ball to that point.
Yeah, but from his viewpoint, they didn't force the incompletion. He just missed. That's how hot he is right now, and that's how he wants to continue to throw them.
Sammy Watkins, he's going to go. And they finally get him, but not before he reaches the 33-yard line. It's a big play there for Baltimore. Well, Charles, looked like that had to be a mix-up there defensively.
You always question that type of confusion. They actually lost him in the middle of the field, gave him all sorts of room to run, and he took big-time advantage of it. That's an error you just can't make on the defensive side of the ball.
And they'll let the quarterback keep it here on 1st and 10. And not much running room. Down to the 32. Only a yard on the keeper, and it'll be second down.
And if you like defensive football, focus on the defensive end on this play. He does everything exactly right. Reads the play and makes sure he spills it for a small gain.
On 2nd and 9, Jackson. And his throw here's incomplete. Just his second incompletion so far. He's 8 for 10. I think he'll take 80%.
There's no doubt that he will, but if you're the defensive play caller, you better circle what you just dialed up on your play sheet and come back to it because you just caused an incompletion. You need a few more of those.
First down and more for Jackson. And he's all the way down to the 13-yard line.
And Brandon, this is the time of the game when Jackson could really take over. He's got the defense's legs a little bit tired. He's got them on the run.
Yeah, this defense looks gassed, and you're exactly right. Second half with the lead, this is when Lamar Jackson seems to thrive. And he's going to have to eat this one as down he goes. Joe Schobert leading the surge there as he drops him for a loss of 6. We've seen him escape similar situations earlier in the game and get away for pretty good yardage. At that time, they get him down.
Yeah, they've had enough evidence that he can get away and run for good yardage, haven't they? That time it felt like, okay, enough of this. Let's play it the right way and get him on the ground before he does any damage.
2nd and 16. A shotgun snap and again to Dobbins. And they won't fare much better here as he maybe gets back to the line. No gain on the play this time, and it'll be a 3rd and long situation coming up. The terrible towels here at Heinz Field. Out in full force. Here's 3rd and long. His throw caught at about the 5. Touchdown. Sammy Watkins. A 20-yard touchdown. And the Ravens take the opening kickoff of the 3rd quarter and drive right down the field to extend their lead. Tucker able to connect on the extra point, and his guys will take a 10-point lead. Tucker now to kick it away following the touchdown. Returning from his end zone is Ray McCloud. And they'll get him down right around the 25, actually the 26 officially, so a net gain of 1 there. Time for the Steelers offense now to get set for their first possession of half number 2. And their deficit a little wider than it was at halftime. Does that touchdown a minute ago change the thinking here at all?
I think it does, at least a little bit, because now urgency has to start setting in. You can't go out there and go 3 and out and run the risk of falling behind substantially, but you have to do it without pressing, because pressing, that leads you into bigger errors.
So here's a 1st and 10 at the 38. He continues to be effective running the football, a big reason that they have the lead.
And I love one of the quotes that I read about him where he said of himself, I love it when a team just hops on my back and I just carry them along.
And this will be stopped at the 44. That one good for 7 yards.
And there we saw one of the downsides of blitzing during a rundown, because sometimes you get out of your gaps. You don't fit the run quite as well because you're headed towards the ball carrier with a bandit.
Johnson's got it complete. And he's able to take it across midfield before going out of bounds.
Never make the mistake that the slot receivers, especially the little guys like we're watching here, are just quicker than fast. A lot of them combine quickness and speed, and they catch a lot of footballs, as we just saw there.
They'll throw on 1st down with Roethlisberger. They'll find Juju Smith-Schuster. 3 yards the gain there, 2nd down.
You can see the time and effort and thought that they put into their passing game, because it was evident right there. It looks like a simple pitch and catch, but you and I both know that they have planned for this and worked hard to make it happen.
And he gets it inside the 35 and just shy of the 30. 144 yards for him on the ground now, as he has been terrific here this afternoon. It's been an excellent day for him running the football, no doubt, as he continues to soar well past 100 yards.
Yeah, it almost feels like he can just grab his briefcase and head home after putting in a full day's work at the office, doesn't it?
On 1st and 10, it's Roethlisberger. Able to hit his target, Claypool. And he's taken down, but not before reaching the 10-yard line. It'll be 1st and goal when we come back. You're watching the NFL on EA Sports. 1st and goal, and they got to be thinking a chance to get right back into this football game. A run with Harris out of the shotgun. And he'll get about 4 there as he takes it from the 10 down to the 6. So that run gets him about halfway home.
Yeah, it's now 2nd and goal. The end zone beckons. It looms. They can do whatever they want. Full playbook. Run it again, or they can go play action and try and put it in that way.
And for one of the few times here today, this run's not going to go anywhere. It'll go as no gain on the play, and now they're looking at a 3rd and goal. On 3rd and goal, Roethlisberger. This is caught, and he'll be brought down here at the 3-yard line. And just 3 yards on the catch there. He couldn't get away. And that will bring up an interesting decision here on 4th and goal.
Well, there certainly was a lot going on that play. Every option in the end zone covered. No place to go with the ball. Had to swing it out to the back. A good job running and getting him tackled in the open field.
Now the Steelers use the first of their 3 timeouts. That'll leave them with 2 remaining. We'll be back after this. Roethlisberger on the draw. Things with an important play coming up, a 3rd and short in a 14-6 ball game. The heavy set out there, 3 tight ends in the formation for 3rd and 3. They'll try and run for it with Bell. And he's able to get the first here as he's taken down at the 25.
There are a lot of different formulas to winning football, but one constant over the years, winning on third down. That pickup there was big because they had struggled throughout this one.
Throwing on first down, Lacey. And that one drops down, incomplete. Good coverage there, forced the ball free, and it's second down. So, Charles, after the long delay, gosh, almost an hour that these teams were back in the locker rooms, how do you handle something like that as a player?
Well, Brandon, I think different guys handle it different ways because the individuals, that's how they get prepared. Some guys, they just want to get dry, you know. Other guys stay hydrated, they keep moving, get on the exercise bike. I have heard stories about certain guys, though, that take a nap, and they tell everyone, just wake me up when it's time to go back out there.
Now this is Le'Veon Bell with a reception. And brought down, but not before they get it inside the 10 to the 7.
And remember, this drive started off following the turnover, and they've taken no time working their way down the short field. A nice connection there, and now they're looking at a 1st and goal.
Now Bell. Give him 3 on the gain there. 2nd and goal. Just not a whole lot of room to operate there on that carry.
No, not at all. They did a really nice job staying in their proper places and not allowing any lanes to open up.
2nd and goal from inside the 5. They'll try again with Bell. And he is in. Touchdown, New York. Le'Veon Bell. His 3rd touchdown now on the year. And the Jets are able to get a score back in the final stages of this 3rd quarter. So this offense, they kept their wits about them even through that delay and able to come back out of the locker room and score on their first drive since the restart.
And Brandon, I think the break might have benefited them the most because they had an extra chance to assess what had been going wrong. They were able to put together a plan for this drive, came out and executed well.
So the Jet offense staying on the field. They're going to go for 2. They'll try and run it in with Bell. And he will get into the end zone again. And he seems to have a nose for it as he gets both the touchdown and the 2-point conversion. And so they run it in on the 2-point try. And it's so often, Charles, we talk about from the offense's perspective what you do on the 2-point conversion. How about the defense? How do they play run versus pass?
It's really difficult for them because I think most teams want to play for the pass. That's what they see most teams do. And so are you able to mass enough people inside if the team decides to run it? Very difficult. I think what you're seeing a lot more now, people blitzing the 2-point conversion. They want you to make a quick decision and make it right now.
There, the offense wins the battle for 2. And no return here for Evans as they will bring this out to the 25. The Titans offense set to begin the drive. And last time wasn't pretty. One play and an interception. We'll see if they can do better.
I want to see if they want to go ahead and throw the ball again now on this drive after what happened on the last one. Throw it on the first play. Give the quarterback some confidence.
See what happens. It's a good pickup on the ground of 7 yards, and time has run out on this 3rd quarter. Before they can snap it, time runs out on this third quarter of play. We'll return with more after this. This is the NFL, and it's on EA Sports. Working with a 2nd and 3. Again, it's Henry. Call it a gain of 3, but not enough to move the sticks. It'll be third and about a foot or two. And the trend continues here in the fourth like it was in the first, second, and third. He's had nowhere to run.
And you're probably thinking to yourself, why do they keep feeding him the football? Well, they trust him first and foremost. They do believe that over time he might actually pop one of these runs. The bottom line is he takes care of the ball well for them, so they'll keep handing it to him.
So we stop for no gain, and that'll bring up 4th down.
Let's just make this one simple. Could he be any more open than he was on that play?
Yeah, they lost him going to the outside.
Hard to believe because you go through your accounting on each and every defensive snap. Who's got who, what defense you're in. That was totally a blown coverage.
And that'll hit at the 5 and go into the end zone for a touchback. New York's offense back out there and set to go. Excellent job by their defense to force the punt and provide them with this opportunity, all tied in the fourth quarter. And they'll come out with a 3 tight end look on the first play of the drive. They'll start out on the ground with Bell. And he's going to get 7 out of this before being taken down at the 27.
Well, partner, I know this type of running back. I mean, this size, this intensity usually gets better as the game goes on. I just tell you from experience, the first few quarters, oh, you're eager. You come running up there. I'm going to tackle this guy. By the fourth quarter, you're coming up and thinking about it.
And D-line wearing down fourth quarter. Yeah, that's not a guy they want to see consistently. 83 yards rushing for him now as he has been tremendous all day long.
Another carry for their leader and a good one. It's crunch time. They'll need him to continue to be productive in both the run and passing game in order for them to try and snatch a victory.
Now after the run by Bell, here's another 1st and 10. And to give this time to the tailback. And he'll be brought down at the 50 after a gain of about 5. Again, if you're just joining us and wondering why this game is still going on, we were delayed 55 minutes in the third quarter due to lightning in the area. The teams went back to the locker rooms. Fans were asked to seek shelter in the concourse, but we're back going again and still on the air. The throw over the middle, taken in. And he's going to have another first down as the tackle's made at the Titans' 38-yard line. Tell you what, he's been able to put the ball in some tight spots all game long. That throw, no different.
Yeah, a lot of people would call it a gutsy type of a throw. I think he looks at it as, I can do it, so it's not that big of a deal to me, and I'm going to keep firing.
And he stopped immediately there. No gain on the play there, 2nd down. They've called his number a lot this afternoon. You wonder how much tread is left on those tires.
We certainly do, but I always think back to one of my favorite coaches in the NFL. And he used to have a meeting with his running backs every year in the offseason and say, look, as many times as you're going to carry the ball, you should be able to carry it one more time. So make sure you get in shape.
That's pulled in, the veteran Carter Landry. And finally down he goes as they work it inside the 10 to the 7. It's a big play that time by the Jets.
There's the arm strength that we saw in college and during the scouting process. And really, it's not just the arm strength there, but the placement as well. To me, that was an excellent combination of arm talent and accuracy.